Hey everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Friday, looks beautiful right now and I'm about to do this video, get it uploaded and go down to Pensacola because I needed to do so. I was hoping to go tomorrow because there's a market down there that has greens on the weekend and also some places that grow around here. So I wanted to kind of set up my green connection, but thunderstorms, big storms reported all day tomorrow, so I'm going to get on down there today. Need to get a desk. I'm trying to set up a new little workspace, basically right where I'm sitting right now, because I have a view here and this works a little better. I need a spot that I'm comfortable to settle into for about 8 hours a day. Anyhow, today I want to talk about deeper levels of health on the raw food diet. I do videos every day, so if you're not already subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate it if you'd go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. Come back and watch some more of my videos. Then click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. Yeah, different levels of health. I think there's a lot of different levels of health and we can choose, you know, there's always how raw should you be, fully raw, not raw at all, somewhere in between. I don't know, you just have to kind of choose for yourself, you know. I mentioned a while back that analogy of getting on a train at one train station and you get off wherever you know, you feel appropriate. Nobody else can tell you that. But I will tell you, you can ask yourself also as a question, how good do you want to feel? How good do you want to feel? Plant-based diet, I mean, you know, if you're eating a fairly clean plant-based diet, not even being too strict with yourself, you're gonna feel like hundreds times better than you probably did when you were following a standard American diet, eating junk, you know, eating a lot of animal products, eating the way maybe you ate before you came to a plant-based diet. So how raw do you really need to go? How raw do you really need to go? You can't, until you've really felt that really next level of feeling good, of feeling clean, of feeling just like, just a burst of energy. You can't tell people, you can't tell people. It's the only way you're ever going to get it is when you feel it. So if you haven't felt it yet, you don't have a frame of reference. And yes, there is, and you know, I was thinking, I was getting into this really deeper thought process earlier, but this is too deep of an analogy probably. You kind of might even liken it, some people just don't have the time to do it right now. You know, you've got a family, you've got a job, you've got whatever, and I hear all these concerns of, you know, of time and money and having to do this thing, you know, while you have a lot of other stuff going on. So I was thinking about it's kind of similar to people that follow a spiritual path, that, you know, that kind of sometimes people that devote their life to meditation, to prayer and that kind of stuff. There's different paths. Both in the Buddhist and in the Hindu tradition, there's paths that people that are still what they call householders follow. In other words, they're devout, they follow their spiritual path, they do a lot of the things that the deeper people do, but they still have the obligations of taking care of a family, taking care of a household, a job, you know, all those things. And then there's the people that, you know, are renunciants and they don't have those obligations. So they have a lot more time on their hands and they're a little bit more serious with their practice. You know, things are what they are. Reality is reality. You know, some people just don't have the time to do some of the things, say, that I do, because I work here at the house. You know, I create my own little world, and a lot of people do. A lot of people have to make this thing work on the go, and I respect that. The people that are, you know, out the door at 7 o'clock in the morning, they have to figure out how to do that day on further than that. But for somebody, you know, if you have the time, like basically most of the time I can feed myself however and whenever I want to, because I'm here. The refrigerator's right over there. For me to, you know, it's not like a regular person that is at the office. They have to stop what they're doing and go do it. I can just go grab something, make it to eat in about 2 minutes. That's that's like a normal break time, and then come back and eat while I'm working, but I can eat anytime I want. And it's not going to happen overnight. A lot of people, you know, I talk about this level of cleanliness. And you know what? Hey, cleanliness. Sometimes people, well, what does that mean? Everybody, there, it's kind of one of those words, like there was a big debate back in the day, the Supreme Court was going over pornography. Well, how do you define pornography? Well, I think one of the famous sayings was, well, I can't define pornography, but I know it when I see it. Well, I can't necessarily put an exact definition on clean eating, but I know it when I see it, I know it when I feel it. And you know, basically, like I say, it just always comes back to how good do you want to feel. I have that time to experiment with this. I have that time to observe myself, and that's why I've always kind of presented this as like kind of in a joking manner as the science experiment. I feel those subtle differences. I feel that difference of being really clean versus, you know, just eating a good healthy diet. And once again, it comes back to what people say, well, I feel good. Maybe you do. I'm not comparing anybody else. I'm just comparing me to me and how I feel doing different things. But once again, you don't know how good you can feel if you haven't reached that next level. I guess what I'm kind of trying to say in my own rambling way is, though, even though I don't preach this purity message, raw is law, and I do that for a reason, because I think that turns people off. So sometimes I don't go far enough, but there is a difference. There is a difference in somebody that's just doing, you know, kind of doing pretty good, eating like this, and then tightening it up and eating just that little bit better. I mean, I feel those subtleties all the time, like I say, because I have the time and to experiment with that. And I'm you know, I don't have other obligations. I don't have, hell, I got so much time on my hands here because I don't know anybody here. I have no life here. I have no conversation. So I'm always playing. I'm always experimenting. I'm trying this. I'm taking this out of my diet. I'm only eating this for a while. And I'm just telling you, most definitely, block everybody else out, block everything you've read out, and just experiment on yourself and be real with yourself and be honest with yourself about how you feel. Now, for the people that say, there'll be somebody that says, well, I've done it. I get those comments from time to time, and they're not bad, they're not negative, nasty comments, so don't feel like I'm coming down on that, but they're like, yeah, I did it. I did, you know, or either I did it and they've moved on, or they're currently doing it and they don't feel good. I've been eating raw for 2 weeks now and I don't feel good. I don't have the energy. I'm bloated. I'm this and that. I'm like, 2 weeks? How old are you? Are you, unless you're, you know, unless you're an infant, unless you're a child, unless you're very young, 2 weeks in the big scheme of things, you've been eating for what? You're probably 35 or 40 years old. You've been eating one way for 35, 40 years, and you've been eating this way for 2 weeks, and all of a sudden it's supposed to feel great. It's not going to happen overnight. People need to get that through their heads. Now, most people, and if you do kind of really figure this thing out and kind of are on that accelerated plan where you know, you're eating a little bit, you're not making some of the mistakes in the beginning, yeah, you will feel better immediately. I know a lot of people that start eating like this, but not necessarily. So don't ever, please, that's the dumbest thing in the world to say, I've been doing something for 2 weeks. I've been eating this for 2 weeks and it just doesn't blah, blah, blah. Unless it's something drastic, unless you're eating something for 2 weeks and it's just sending shooting pains into your stomach, that's just not, you know, a long enough time of reference. And you know, for the people that still have not felt that, the people that have not felt that thing yet, because you never can quite get there. There's always that falling off the wagon. There's always this thing. There's always this event that you go to that throws you off. And I can't do it because of this. I can't do it. It's hard, this, blah, 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 blah. Little by little by little. If you have to do it, if it takes you a year to get there, and if you have to eliminate one thing a day, I'm big on that. I'm big on that. You know, if you had to literally just do it, if you have to move forward 0.5% every day, 0.5% every day, if it takes you forever, if you're that guy, if you're that person, you see those, you know, those people that run the marathon and it takes them like 8 hours and everybody's gone home, it's dark and all that, they finish, they get there. It took them 4 times longer, 5 times longer than the record holders, the winners, but they got there. And you will too, but you just go little by little. You take a little bit out each day, you get a little bit cleaner every day. And just to finish with this rambling, no real point video today, none of the juicers or cleansers will ever quite get it. It's a long haul. It's a long getting clean. It's doing it over a long period of time. You know, I know people in the time I've been doing this that have probably done 50, 60, 70 cleanses or fast. I've done none. I did one water fast 5 years ago when I was locked up. That's been it. And I know without a doubt my system is much cleaner because they go back and forth. I don't. I just consistently eat fruits and vegetables over a long period of time. But there are differences. I'll never be one of those purists. I'll never preach raw is law, but I would be remiss if I was too wishy-washy and wasn't clear enough on that yes, you will feel better on the fully raw if you're getting decent stuff too. And you know, decent being a relevant term. I'm in Alabama right now. You know, I'm always getting good bananas, which I love bananas. They're not just a filler. I love bananas. Spectacular mangoes. I almost want to say that the Talfo mangoes I'm eating right now are as good as any mangoes I was getting in Costa Rica. And orange juice. But, you know, anyhow, your mileage may vary. This is just what happens to me, and that's always what this channel is about. I'm not trying to tell you, you need to do this, you should do this, you ought to do this. This is what I'm doing, this is the results I'm getting. Make your own decisions. You know, figure it out for yourself. Don't do it my way. Don't do it like I say. Do it your way. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this one today. If you like it, give me a thumbs up, and we'll see you tomorrow. Hope y'all have a good weekend. Peace.